was raised in the village, though we were scattered like seeds. Recreated the village, where we planted our feet. Now we reach to the heavens, like the branches of trees. I'm a child of the village, so it lives in me. Torn from our home, born in a new world, we're more than alone. And the more that we change, more we stay the same. Sat and prayed at the place where the slave ships came. Walked on the beach, slid my feet in the sand. We're divided and conquered, a need and a hand. And believing in man, it's a tough bridge to cross, but nothing's gained if there ain't no loss. At what cost? I was raised in the village, though we were scattered like seeds. Recreated the village, where we planted our feet. Now we reach for the heavens, like the branches of trees. I'm a child of the village, so it lives in me.
We should make this really short. Introduce yourself, please.
Susan Hay with Global Television, and I'm the host producer of Making a Difference.
And tell us about Uforchange and how you think they're making a difference.
We decided to pick Uforchange because it fit my segment perfectly. You know, an organization helping youth who are from St. Jamestown who need a little extra help in the arts and getting started and to improve their life. So Uforchange, improving skill development while offering programs that help a youth and their self-esteem and going forward and giving them hope, there's no better segment. The other thing is that this program pays the youth to come here. So it's giving them a little bit of money in their pocket, it feeds them, and it just gives them opportunities. And when you build self-esteem and you say, hey, you know what, you've got the goods to have this type of future to go on, that's all anybody needs.
Perfect. That's all we need.
Rodrigo's kind of he's the model student. He's definitely, like a couple weeks ago we were asked to describe the perfect youth that like the ideal student that comes through Uforchange. And Rodrigo was really, he's the example of the youth who comes in from another country with talent, but not a lot of hard skills or soft skills, with nothing but drive. And he would just show up, you know, for his workshops, and then he really liked it, and he would just show up in his off hours and just learn and train himself and learn. And he got to a point where he was just really good, so we ended up taking him on a part-time basis, and then he got to practice his skill even more. He ended up teaching the video class, and now we're really pushing him to run his own business as well as working for us. Like, we contract Rodrigo out when our production company gets jobs, and he works with the clients, he mentors the youth coming through. He's done really, really well, and hopefully we can help him move on as well as develop 10 more of him.
I feel very fortunate that, you know, I found Uforchange, because in Mexico, I'm not saying that there is no, you know, opportunities here and there, but it's tougher, you know, and here I was so surprised, you know, that I could like go to that program and
for free. Take classes for free and even like get paid. You know, I go, oh, okay, is it real? You know, is it like a dream or what? No, but yeah, it can sound funny, but you know, if you bring like people who, you know, haven't had that kind of chance before, it's a totally different experience. So yeah, I think that Uforchange, that point, you know, provided me that opportunity with the classes and with the knowledge, you know, with the equipment. They did a lot for me, you know. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's say someone comes to you and they're like in the early 20s. This is something that has happened repeatedly, okay? They come to you, they're like, I dropped out of high school, I don't have, you know, any money, I don't have a job, I don't have the credentials, but being at Uforchange has inspired me to go back to school. And then you look at why. So let's say it's photography and they want to go to school for like early childhood education, let's say, right? Okay. What does photography have to do with early childhood education? And the one thing that really resonated and is the reason why we do what we do is because photography taught them confidence, theater taught them confidence, graphic design taught them confidence. You're surrounded by people who actually believe you can do it, and then you do it, and you produce a product, and at the end of it you're like, I can do something. I have the ability to complete something. And something that we take for granted as like, oh, we're gonna have like a little graduation ceremony at the end. For these youth, it's like, no, I succeeded and I finished something.
Yeah.
You know? So,
Okay.
what does photography have to do with, early childhood education? It has to do with the fact that for the first time maybe for some of them, or for the first time in a long time for some of them, they had people surrounding them who nurtured their talent and believed in them.
From the beginning, if I can remember far back, it was about 2 years of like me working in the community in St. Jamestown with Kate and Josephine, and there was no money, there was nothing, there was no resources at all. If you needed pizza, you paid for it out of your own pocket. If you needed pencils, you borrowed them from the school. If you needed flip chart paper, you stole it from a big agency or something. Like as I said before, it was like, I think I made like $5,000 that year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was nuts. So,
How did you survive?
how did I survive? I lived at home, and I didn't. I had a really supportive boyfriend who paid a lot of my bills, and Chris at the time, and he took care of me, and my mom took care of me. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I could do what I loved doing, which was community development, and we helped organize an initial group of young people in St. Jamestown that we got together in the community center, and we had flip chart paper up on the walls, and it was like probably about 20 or 30 kids, who were my age, if not younger, and some were older. And we were like, well, what do you guys want to do? Like, what are some of the problems you see in St. Jamestown? What are some of the opportunities? And they all kind of came back with like, well, environment's really important to us. Art is really important to us, and doing things that bring people together.
March 31st, we lost 85% of our funding. So it basically meant we had to fire a bunch of people, cut down our programs, cut down our space, and cut down the amount of youth that we serve. So that was tough. It was tough to lose a lot of good workers, and it was tough to lose good friends, and dialing down a program that for 3 years really over-delivered. So it was kind of a tough pill to swallow that, you do everything you're supposed to do and then you kind of get cut off at the bottom. But, like anything else, you restructure, and we relaunch, and we've managed to secure another 4 years of funding. So it's kind of like we went through a transition phase, and now we're slowly getting back up to where we were before, and hopefully beyond that.
How many dollars is that at 85% in funding?
We lost $750,000. So $750 of $950,000 was our core funding. So then we had to survive on $150,000 to $200,000.
Was that for a year, or?
It was a year. It was a $3 million 3-year pilot project. So it was $1 million a year around there. So it was a bit less.
Okay, and then recently you said that you guys did get some more funding.
We did. We secured $250,000 across 4 years, so $1 million.
Great.
So we're sustainable for 4 years, but we're still not where we were and where we want to be.
So before you speak about that, the 250, how was it? You know, you said you had to fire some people.
Yeah.
How was the morale?
Yeah, it was tough, you know, but everyone understood. Obviously, you come from a really loud, vibrant office to a very kind of calm, quiet, you know, not what anyone wanted. Our main goal was to make sure that even though our front office was kind of a mess, that the youth that we were taking in didn't notice. And that was the hardest part, to be like, yes, we can still keep up with everything we promised these kids with 85% less of the money, which meant about 60% of your hours are volunteer, which can get tricky.
Mm-hmm.
In the shadow of the gun, the unsung live away from the sun. The river of peace, it's often the shallowest one. Though once some hung to silence our voices, violence, riots for denying our choices. Now the choice is for black boys to fall like rain. Bullets make a body fold like paper cranes. Our lives at a time both sacred and profane. And black folk were selling black folk crack cocaine. And the business is good. Customers, they come to visit if you live in the hood. So now we love the ghetto, we believe it's our home. The streets are our kingdom, the corner our throne. We're like flies in the fibers of spiders' webs trapped. Taking orders like Simon says. We no longer court the truth but seek a bullet instead. The world barely cares if we're alive or dead. Save our souls. Bless the dead. Black bodies. Yo. Black bodies on the concrete, falling down, calling out. Save our souls. Black bodies on the concrete, falling down, calling out.
Special guest Barry Average. It's
How you guys doing, bro? It's your boy Fusion, the one and only.
Tomorrow and Sunday. Good night,
I'd like to
everybody.
thank everybody that's been supporting the Uforchange 5.0. But I'm a TA, I'm an assistant rap teacher, helping out with the rap, and everybody did pretty good. And it was a good performance, so I gotta say thank you for coming out. There's gonna be two more to go, and it's gonna be continuing. And the graduation comes, so you're gonna see a lot of footage coming in the graduation, alright? And please help us donate money to help Uforchange to keep it alive. Alright? So I'd like to thank everybody. So I'm out. Bye.